so cool. Hello, everyone. My name is Raven. Thank you all so much for tuning in. And I'm here joined with
Matt Worrell. I am the lead producer for Aether Studios, and I live in Denver, Colorado. And you can see me at the local events when I'm not too busy making the game.
Ooh, are you a Zetaburn main?
Yeah.
Ooh. So we'll play this game out, and then I'll go ahead and get started on asking questions.
Sounds good.
One of them comes from a very awesome, amazing top player friend of mine named Shadowhawk, if that name rings bells. He asked, is there a character that was like challenging to port over from the to the 3D engine and the environment from like an art direction or maybe a gameplay direction? Is there any line like that really stood out?
So not really from a art or gameplay, but from technical, and one of them is right here, Forceburn. So figuring out 3D was very challenging, and it's the reason like Orcane and Forceburn are the last two characters. If for those that were like really paying attention to the game when we first announced, like there was a model of Forceburn like on our website, like you know, we kind of like accidentally revealed the character, I guess, but we had to just wait until that smoke tech came in before we were able to work on the character essentially. So yeah. It was tough, and then Orcane doing all the different deformations of his, how you can become a different pod and all the different looks that Orcane has was really challenging to do. From a gameplay side though, not really. Trevor's kind of a mad genius when it comes to this stuff. Like him and I were roommates in grad school, and he was super obsessed with platform fighters. He played Project M, he went to Smash Locals, played Melee. So, like, I don't know, he has been thinking of this game and what he would do to rivals to make it more Smash-like with shields and grabs and the like for a long time. And so, gameplay side, he was just ready to fire on all cylinders as soon as, you know, we kicked off production. That's Trevor Youngblood. He's the gameplay programmer.
That's what it is.
Gameplay lead. So, this is kind of his game in a sense. I mean, it's Dan's game, but it's also, or like I should say, it's Dan's franchise, but Trevor's game. This was like Trevor's big step up for the studio to like really not take over, but be a big part of gameplay. Now, I would say Dan has contributed more to that than Trevor did for Rivals 1, if you want to like, you know, look at it that way. But still, like, as Dan will admit to you, he doesn't code. He's not a coder anymore.
No, yeah.
Duties of the studio just far outweigh the luxury of being able to dive in. It starts this way. It comes with Trevor saying these are the changes I want for the character, and then Dan and Trevor, you know, work together to finalize that. So, but it originates from Trevor. They come to an agreement. Trevor implements, and then they both review the character once in game.
Oh, okay.
So I don't want to like discredit Dan. Like, there's just so much work. Like right now we're hiring to relieve me of some duties, relieve Dan of some duties, and like also probably relieve Trevor of some duties so Trevor can just focus on character gameplay. All
right. Well, I'll email you my resume later, and we'll talk about that later.
Sounds good.
All right. Well, I got another one. This one is a really like one of my favorite questions. EJ asks, since Ori and Shovel Knight are not at this time getting renewed into Rivals 2, can we expect to maybe see something like their moves or the kits of some characters like Ori and Shovel Knight be put into new characters?
Yes, we've talked about that. So future characters, we've often reference like, okay, this character is going to have this like Shovel Knight, and I don't want to spoil it too much. So, but like, you know, referring back to that character. So for those people that played Shovel Knight in Rebels 1 and miss him and want to see that kind of similar playstyle, it won't be like one-to-one, but there will be moves that feel very familiar with some characters that are coming up. Not anytime soon, I should say. You know, we're talking at least years out. But you know, we only get 4 characters a year is how the production is lining up right now. I'm looking to expand that, but I really doubt we're going to be able to ramp it up in a year or two. They're like, these characters take 8 months.
I'm sure they take forever to make a character, to be honest. I can't imagine that taking like less than half a year, honestly.
It's 8 months total, but like we often break it up. So what we do is we do design pass, which I didn't even like calculate into the character creation, but then it goes into production, and then we're doing gameplay animations. And with those gameplay animations, we can then start reviewing the character and testing for balance and things like this. So we pause production after 4 months, and then begin production again on final animations once that all has been approved. So it's a process.
All right.
So between 2 animators, they each get, well, I guess they each get 2 characters done a year. You know, jumping back and forth between gameplay and final animations. So, yeah, we need to hire more animators before we can make more characters. And I don't know if Trevor has the bandwidth with everything that he's got going on to program those characters as well. But Shovel Knight, yes, definitely have some of those kits. Ori has come up in discussion of future characters, like, it would be great if we had Shovel or Ori's this or that, but nothing that's coming out soon. I would say very, very late.
So, EJ also asked, if you can answer, are there more Dungeons of Aether characters we can see in the future coming, whether they're background characters or playable characters? And he does have a special request. He says, if you do have any planned, please do not say who they are or anything, that he'd like it to be a surprise. But if you know if there's any, he'd like to know.
Yes, absolutely. So yeah, we see the request online, or or the interest, the love for it. So we definitely want to bring that to him. Oops, wrong button. But yeah, it's gonna take some time. Definitely not this coming year, but in that murky, like, what's next is there's that discussion. We want to bring all 4, and if the game is successful and everybody keeps buying skins, we can bring all 4 eventually to the game. I think it's a live service game, so people, we do have that sticker price to get into the game. That's kind of just the evolution of how game development has gone. We could have made it free to play. That was actually the original business model, but with just not finding an investor or publisher and kind of our team size being it is, we had to have that initial, launch revenue to basically keep going. And then now we have to keep server costs fed, right? So servers cost.
I'm sure they cost a lot of money.
Yeah. So if you want really good online, this is the cost. Hey, if you like a skin, buy it for us, please.
Yeah, I mean, that's exactly what I was talking about with this game, is people talking about like, oh, I can't get this skin, or I couldn't use my bucks. Like, I'm like, guys, this isn't a multi-billion-dollar corporation. Like if you want this game to succeed, we have to support the developers back by supporting their game, and I'm happy to do so. I gotta say, it is one of my big pushes. Every time I go to buy something, I'm like, I'm supporting Rivals. I'm down to do it.
Yeah, which love your. If you have criticisms or think like, hey, this is ridiculously priced, or this skin is not as cool as it should be for this price, or anything like that, please let us know, because we are kind of figuring it out on the fly as to what works for this community. So like, for instance, we're having a debate about having too many bundles in the game right now. So we're thinking about what we can do there to put more things for buck purchases. Is how does that look? So it's not like, but we had our plan at the beginning of this, and we're kind of sticking with it and seeing how that goes, and then evaluating from there.
So you answered several questions that I actually have too. So like, one of the questions that me and a lot of the Colorado Rivals Discord had was, it seems like the Denver server's been gone for a while, and we just assumed that was due to the weather of Colorado recently, but we weren't sure. We were wondering if you had any idea if that was a down thing or maybe a get rid of the server kind of thing. Even now, you and I are playing on a Dallas server.
Right. So it's all about volume, and so it could be that Denver just doesn't have as much volume at a given time. Like, so for instance, we're playing in the middle of the day during the work hours. It could be that the Denver server picks up in the post work, like 5 to 6. Something I can look into. So how our server backend works is, we work with this company called EdgeGap, and how EdgeGap works is they borrow servers from all different software companies. So they have Amazon Web Services, they have Microsoft, they have companies I've never heard of. And so what they do is basically, like, when those servers are not being used, they lease them. So that takes our costs down, but then yeah, you get into situations where you're not on the best server possible. But for the game that we have, and it's 1v1 typically, and so you don't have the 100-person Fortnites or things like this. It's not as important to have a server so close. Now, don't get me wrong. Like if you're in Europe and you're connecting to Seattle or something, that would be terrible. And so we, their code doesn't allow, or I shouldn't say doesn't allow, but kind of prevents those things from happening. But for us, like we can still have a really good connection. Almost feels like it's local play online, being in Dallas, and so it's less important. But we are working to make regional preferences more precise for players who want to dig into that. Now, we'll see. It's going to take some time.
It's going to take time. It just will.
Yeah.
All right, then.
We do want to completely move our matchmaking from one service to another, so that has to happen first. And so, that's not our service. That's our matchmaking.
All right. As an extension to that, someone was talking about like a peer-to-peer connection for certain things like private lobbies, if that's ever a possibility, or if you have any idea about that.
So we have talked about it. It's just not feasible. We basically have to rewrite everything. We have to make two versions for the game. And
that's just not worth it, to be honest.
Yeah, not right now, definitely. But yeah, like certainly, like so that where I can like really speak to it is like that is moonlighting the game in a way. And so we're obviously not at that phase, but like if the game kind of loses player numbers, that would jump up in what's it called, in popular or on the priority list, because we want players to, who are still interested in this game to play, and having peer-to-peer, no servers would be huge to be able to do that in the longevity of the game. So like look at Rivals of Aether, like if you go try to play online right now, I saw somebody on Reddit today say like, it's been 30 minutes, I can't find a match. Like that sucks. Obvious reasons that we can't control. Like wish we had more players. Obviously we'd be super happy if there were enough players for both games. And who knows, maybe there will be someday. But right now servers are doing good, and we are not prioritizing that now. But if the game gets into that scenario, we would want to pursue that.
All right. Side request, completely separate. I haven't actually got to fight one of those Abyss skins as a person.
I've not unlocked it myself because I try to keep my account pure.
Oh, I was about to say.
Is there any character that you're super jazzed about that you want to see?
I'd love to see Forceburn. Hero of Hats as a very good one. Do you have a favorite emote and skin yourself?
My favorite skin. Shoot. Okay, hold on. I'm gonna get myself in trouble because I'm thinking of all the skins and not the ones that are just released. My favorite released skin right now is Slasher Claren. I think
that's a good one. I really do love it.
And then my favorite emote, that one's gonna be tough.
Dude, I have a favorite emote, and I'm praying you and I have the same one. Come on.
Jeff Loxodot?
No. That is a good one. I do love it.
What's your favorite?
Real. Or Kane doing real. It's just like it's such a good emote to put in there.
That was from a backer. That
really?
Came from a backer. Yeah. That was like, they bought the tier or whatever. Yeah. Emote like invokes the low poly event. I don't know. If you guys got good ideas, like please like send it to me, because we're hoping that event comes back next year.
Oh man, I'd love to see one that's literally just something like Raster like freaking out, like he's like, oh my god, and it says like, these graphics look amazing. I thought that would look cool, and like you could show one where it's like him, kind of like how Clarence changes, but that one with Raster, and he's just like, wow,
I like that. These graphics look amazing. Is great.
You were talking about the backers. We have a player named Slinky who asked, when can the backers expect to see the custom icons?
Custom icons. So those are done for the people that responded to us on email. The thing that we need to do is, basically get them in game. So we're working on it.
Okay. Well, I'll be sure to tell like Slinky personally too, like, hey, maybe check your email to see about responses.
Yeah. I think it's, if they haven't been communicating with us, then they need to communicate with us. And if they might have a bad email, which if that's the case, like they're not getting emails from us. Okay, I do have the scan. They need to need to get in contact with us. But yeah, I will look into that. I'll tell my community team to make a post about it. If I remember right, the reason they haven't gone out is because we all want to do it in one go, and it's literally like 2 or 3 like people being like, "Oh, actually, that's blue, not purple." Like,
yeah, you gotta work with them, But I'm sure you'll get them out soon. Mr. Garrison, who I think this is an important one to just give credit to you, but it's kind of a long one. He says, I'm curious to see how the devs feel about all the feedback they get. They're such an awesome small dev team that listens to the community, so I feel like players are encouraged to share every critique about the game. It's awesome that they're open to all the critiques, but I feel like it must be so exhausting for the devs to see half of the Reddit posts are complaints. And hopefully they understand that it's all coming from players just wanting the game to succeed.
Yeah, and that's
oh
we
my
love
god,
it.
that's such a cool skin.
Can you see me switching?
Yes, I can see the palettes. Oh my god, that blue one looks so good. Is there a green? Oh, that's so cool. Oh, I can't wait to get that skin.
We need to get them in the game. Like, yeah. So originally the plan for get the skins in the game was when story mode was still going to be on release. There was going to be like your reward for playing story mode as certain characters. So yeah, and of course they're needed for story mode because you play against the best version of the characters. But yeah, we'll figure out a way to get them because people are losing their minds trying to figure out how to unlock them or figure out our plan for when we're going to allow people to get them. Enter the question about like what is it?
About how the devs basically feel about all the
use the note board. Note board is our primary source for checking all that stuff. So please use that and upvote and comment, what you think of certain proposed changes, because that's really helpful for us. God, Forsman is easily my worst character.
I love this character so fucking much. He's so cool.
But yeah, in terms of that's kind of the business model is we are not Smash. We are trying to be a community that has frequent updates so the meta stays relevant and you're not seeing the same 6 characters in the top 10 characters or whatever, making sure that the game stays fresh and fun for people that are interested. So that all spawns from the note board and from player feedback. So don't ever feel like, oh, they're not gonna listen to me because I'm screaming too loud. It's like, no, it's like no. And credit to Dan and Trevor, Dan's original character, and then Trevor taking that and figuring out ways to expand on it in 3D. It's
Dan
Match Band. I introduced those two way back when.
Dan, Trevor, I've always been in love with my little personal baby character, and that was the only reason I got into platform fighters originally. I didn't think there could ever be anyone to replace him. Then you guys gave me Orcane. I love this cute little fucking orca dog whale thing. I don't know what it is, but I love him. He's just such a little baby. And then you gave me the first time I could play a character that I didn't have to sacrifice my own decisioning on oh, I don't really like this character, but I'm gonna play him because they're cool. No, it's finally a character who's cool and he's fun and I get him and I love playing him. And every time I'm winning or losing, I'm still thinking to myself I could be so much better. What if I did this? Or if I utilize this tool better? Or if I mix that option up more?
Dude,
thank you very much.
Really glad you like it because it means a lot. When we were in grad school together, I knew that Trevor was destined for greatness. From the first games that we made, I'm like, okay, this guy is different and gets it more than anyone else. Aww. So yeah, to see his dream now come into reality is really special.
But I've got a really good question, but there is someone responding in chat, and I really think I want to give him that attention. So Professor Sky Nerd asks, how much do you think the current roster will expand? And do you think the other runner-up winners might be added? I assume they're talking about the workshop customization characters that were made that lost to Lorena, which I can't wait to see Lorena, by the way.
Yeah. So how much will the roster expand? 4 characters a year until the heat death of the universe. This is the current plan.
Fantastic.
So hopefully that we can keep that up. That's going to be largely dependent on studio profits and whether our animators stay and what is it, like continue working on the game and are happy and blah blah blah. We hire more people, find the right people. If things go right or wrong with the characters, that could be a hindrance as well. Like, everything is going to plan, and then we find out that it's really unfun to play against a character. That might prevent the character from coming out on time. Roster expansion with the new characters. So we did talk about it. It was mentioned like, hey, we could do these characters in the future. It's so far down the line. Like 5 years maybe, if that we keep to that list that we have. Lorena is slated to come out earlier.
I can't wait to play her. I'm so excited. She looks so cool. What a great concept. This is one of my important questions. I have a very important request, Matt, and I understand that, this has probably been brought up already, but I need to represent the people. I have a very important request. Can we please add that when Rano is, churning around animation while using the slam dunk skin, that we hear little basketball like shoe squeaks? I think that one change makes that character and the dittos I've had in that character, I think it makes it a billion times more fun. I could play that until the end of time if there's little shoe squeaks.
I will put that request in. I will say, our audio team going through a little bit of they're behind schedule, and I am the schedule guy, so just being completely candid. So all to say, not soon, but yeah, definitely put it on the
13 years down the line, if it happens, that's good enough for me. I don't care when, as long as it's at least heard.
But yeah, right now we're focused on getting the content right for the upcoming releases and making sure that goes smoothly. But yeah, that's a really easy lift, I feel like.
Crosstalk has a question here, but also I know he asked another one that was really good, so I want to see that one. But let's just go with his for now. Is there a list of priority for features to be updated, like story mode, and then this, and then characters? Is there a certain list out there that maybe we can see a form of it, what you guys are most focused on? Is it story next, or releasing the new 2 characters at a time?
We have to be very careful about what we say is coming, because often, what we have in our mind and what actually happens are 2 different things, right? So we have to roll with the punches of how things go poorly with developments. We don't want to say oh, April, this is going to be in the game, because a lot of the time, it doesn't work out the way we expect. But we still, work through those and eventually get them. We just don't make any hard promises. That said, our highest priority right now is new player features. So we're making it to where the game is just more accessible for people. So, people that really like the game and want to get their friends into it, we want to give them more ammo to say hey, you suck at the game, that's okay. What you do is do this for a bit, and then once you get an idea and feel better about the mechanics, then you can, come play me and we can have more fun, because right now I'm just stomping into the earth and you have a terrible time. So that's our priority right now. Story mode and those bigger features, we have to hire up for those. So we laid off our story mode team early last year. We was not making very good progress, and we didn't hit our funding goals that we need to keep them on. So we will hire that team. Hopefully we get those developers back, but we're gonna roll with whatever team best fits us for the future. Anywho, so yes, that deadline, or that what's it called, timeline for story mode is going to be completely dependent on how soon we hire, how quickly that team is able to gel and get moving. So a lot of pieces still to figure out there. Hopefully I answered that question. Was there another part of that question?
No. I mean, that pretty much nailed it.
It's not gonna be public. You can look at our roadmap and see what's gonna come. Dan has already announced that we're gonna have crew battles. We're gonna have.
I'm so excited for crew battles.
Yeah, I think Buddy were in there too, which is a feature way out there. But that was supposed to be unreleased, and that was soon cut once I got involved.
The one I've got really good one. This is from Violet. and I have an extension to her question. She asked if there's ever any plans to add a character who maybe does like a stance change or a character swap, kind of like Zelda and Sheik or Pyra Mythra. The one I really thought was cool was kind of like how, if you've seen Mortal Kombat 1 is doing, they have Ghostface now, where you can swap between the different archetypes of Ghostface in between the game to kind of reference how Ghostface is a multiform killer in the stories, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So if that's on a table of like, oh, that's a great character concept, maybe we can talk about that being a character archetype.
Yeah, the thing I would say to that is those characters are fun. We have designs for characters like that. The issue is that you're kind of just doing twice the work for one character. So they just get moved down the priority of like, okay, well, things are so hot right now. We just released the game, you know, we're getting all these unexpected things. Like, for instance, if we do story mode, we might have to do like enemy animations, which would reduce our animation budget. So we kind of have to focus on just doing the bare minimum for a character, just, you know, like standard rule set. So all to say, like, we want to. It's just they're harder to do, so that's why they get lower on the list.
Hats, sorry, not Hero of Hats. I apologize. Mr. Garrison asked about maybe a character with a built-in charge shot, kind of like DK's punch or like Samus's charge shot.
You know, is a new character that has something similar to that, and I believe that character just got moved back, just because. Yeah, but yeah, I can imagine that character like that coming in soon. I mean, we kind of have that right now with Rano a little bit, but yeah, I mean, Trevor's a huge Smash and PM player, so like, what is it? Those characters exist. Trevor likes them, so I can definitely see, yeah, like inspiration that way, that flowing that way, getting into a character coming out soon.
All right.
Yeah, I'm trying to think if the unannounced character has something like that. I actually haven't played one of the characters that are coming out next year. Because, you know, I'm production brain, so I'm playing out the character that's coming out next. But cool idea, definitely.
Let's see. There was a really good one I had. Except now you're getting a lot more aggressive as Zetaburn.
Oh, you're distracted.
I gotta say, my Orcane, fantastic.
Yep.
You know, I know it's a 1 p.m. and I know you're talking about the time stuff, so we can boil through some of these faster.
Yeah, how about no games, blitzkrieg on the question.
Let's do it. In fact, I've got a fantastic way to do that, which will keep Rivals 2 music in the background while I also get to kind of burn through some of these questions. So here's another one I've got, a really good one I really like. So of course you guys made this House of Ribbon esports palette and such like that. I'd love to see more of those. My personal idea, right? You guys talked about going to locals. I don't know how you guys would do it, and I'm open to different ideas for it, but I'd love to see state represented palettes.
That's 50 pallets.
It would be quite a bit of pallets.
And then if you do one for each character, that's 500 pallets.
That would be a lot.
And that's you keep adding it to each new character we create, which would be anyways.
Yeah, that's a bigger point. I didn't think about that part.
So, I like the idea a lot, and it would also solve the problem that we have where we we'll make a palette specific to a tournament, and then that doesn't encapsulate the whole state or other people, so then we could be serving one region too much, right? So definitely cool idea. And then I think what we'd probably do is something like that where we do like regions, right? Like maybe we do like a West Coast, we do a mountain, we do a South, maybe all South palettes have a
I don't know. It could even be something as simple as like a respawn platform where it's like you've got like the Colorado kind of like logo in the background for the respawn platform.
Oh, that'd be so
dude, that'd be way easier.
We could just do the state flag, right? And just have swap in.
Man, a Colorado flag or a California flag flying in the background as I'm respawning. I'm not getting off that platform. I'm sitting up there for a second. All right. So the one I had too was like tournament play. So we're seeing a lot of tournaments, something like let's Lumosities make moves, where they didn't really have much skin options. They were using pretty much only the default ones. Heatwave 7, we got to see that people were using, I believe, SBS's account, which, you know, then got to use the Abyss skins. But like, what about Genesis? Like, maybe it doesn't have to be every station there, but, you know, generally those on stream would be able to have more skin options. Like, if I wanted to use Orcane's Clownfish one on, you know, stream at Genesis.
Yeah, so the plan is for all cosmetics to be unlocked at tournaments and locals. The tricky side of it is it's a lot harder to do that with, you know, locking content out. We had a solution for Heatwave. We'll probably use that same solution. Basically, there's a right way to do it and the wrong way to do it. Currently, we're doing the wrong way to do it, which is kind of just having a version of the game that has everything unlocked, which is, it's not so risky, because then, you know, say that gets leaked, then they won't get any updates.
Of course.
But yeah, so another option is we have some cool code that you can put in, and that just unlocks everything that's released currently. All to say, yes, at Genesis, you will be able to play with whatever skin you want.
Gilgamesh was asking about training situations for replays, a situation where you could recreate the game from the last like set you played or something, and you could take that into training mode so you could kind of test them out. I assume that's going to be a huge backload thing, but, you know, just at least the idea that it could exist someday.
So you should be able to do in training mode, like set certain behaviors for your AI. So if you want an AI to always be parrying or shielding or, you know, something like that, so you can work on frame perfect attacks, you can do that right now in game. To have to like run it back from a replay of like what somebody did to you, that we have save states in the game. So we need to have a training mode tutorial someday.
I'm down for that, but I know people want it like quick and easy, and even he was saying himself that he was like, I don't think it's that hard to recreate the situation, but that he had also heard people talking about they want it like instantly, like save state from the set, bring it into training mode. And I'm like, you got to understand how complicated that would be, man. That would take so much work, and probably what would end up happening is that somebody would recreate the situation in training mode and say, well, I can't beat it, so I guess there's no way around it. And it's like, no, dude, there was. Like, you shouldn't have rolled there. That's why you got grabbed. Like, come on, man. And I think it puts people down a bad path, but nevertheless, it's something being asked.
Don't get me wrong.
Yeah, exactly.
And, you know, here in like a year, I can probably bring that up and see if we're doing it right. The person that would do that is currently working on tutorials.
Really great one. Is Zanny J4 was asking, as a member of the modding community, he's wondering, how do you guys kind of feel about it at this moment in time? Or do you have any restrictions you'd like people to like kind of like, hey, to respect us creators and the artists who made them, maybe please don't mess with this? Anything like that?
I'm not sure of the question. So it's like, is the question about like when's Workshop getting to Rivals 2? Like, what's like, what, anything that we would not, sorry. Maybe rephrase.
So you like how you see people like taking the games and they're like adding like a little hat to Arcane and stuff like that to like mod their own game.
Oh, so like, are we gonna crack down on modders?
Do you have a problem with that, or were you guys kind of like go to town?
So if I might get in trouble here. So no, so long as you're playing locally, it is all fine. If you are on our forums showing people how to exploit the game in any way, that is when we'll crack down. Okay. So it's like, hey, you can, do like a instant shield, blah, 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 by installing this macro, you know, like that. Obviously, it impacts the integrity of the game. Now, if somebody has like a modded skin in the game and it's playing locally and maybe even online where they can see it, but their opponent cannot. So obviously, if like they figure out a way to hack into the online and get their custom skin to be viewed by the opponent, don't know how that could be theoretically possible, but we crack down on that because obviously there's a lot of terms of service and Steam stuff, like somebody put a nude character in, you can't have that. So so basically, as long as it doesn't like impact gameplay or the play experience of your opponent, I don't think there's going to be any like crackdown. Yeah, just keep it fun. Yeah, no, I will say, for those that are like, when is Workshop coming? The best years of Rivals of Aether were the years after we introduced Workshop. So we know from a business sense, this makes a hell of a lot of sense. So we obviously doing it in 3D is like 10 times as hard.
Oh yeah.
Figure out a way that we can do it, but yeah, hopefully all the people that are modding the game, they're going to be rewarded someday because we're going to give them the tools to make it like a real thing that they can share with people. And not like hey, download this, move this file, like, hey, go to my workshop page and hit this button and you can play with the skin I made. You know, that's hopefully the dream.
The one that Glitch had was, when can we expect to like maybe see like purchasing custom palettes?
Custom palettes. We have talked about it, so it's with the game being so focused on cosmetic monetization, that's a really like tricky thing, because if we just say we just introduced it where it's free and do whatever, we could potentially lose out on a lot of cosmetic sales that way. We are we got to get the tech going, which we don't have the time to do right now. I mean, like, obviously we can change the colors of skins and stuff. It's there, just you know, it's a huge UI lift to be able to work on sliders and choose different colors and you know, select different what's it called, the skin primary, secondary color, etc. But the big thing that we need to solve before we really kick that off is how it ties into the overall monetization plan for the game. So what I'm hoping is that players feel that it's something that they can do, but also something that they feel is part of the grander scheme of skins and the celebration there. Like, I unlock this skin, now I can go customize it. Like, that should be the thing. It shouldn't be like I don't need to get this skin because I have so many tools that I have myself that I don't need to give anything to this game and not. Yeah, which is kind of, you know, slimy in a you know, business sense, but like, I think
you're being ridiculous if you're like, this corporation wants to make money so that they can keep like hosting tournaments. Like, what's wrong with them? What, you mean that they want a major so they can give like the top players like Cake Assault a pot bonus? That's ridiculous. Like, come on, man. Yes, dude, the corporation needs money. Matt has a family and a life. Like, you best believe he deserves a paid vacation. Like, come on, guys.
I appreciate that. Yeah. But like, seriously, like the kind of the founding ember and spark of all this is like, we do want to be a little different. You know, we don't want to just look to pinch every place that we can get, and then also like, you know, spend that time to address player feedback on like big corporations that, you know, like Nintendo. Like, Nintendo's great. They make awesome games. They make awesome content. But like, yeah, like being able to just have a balance patch relative to what's going on with the competitive scene is something we really need in a genre like this. So hopefully we can bring that.
All right. So this is one that I've seen a lot of other people asking, but this is a definite one I think is important, is do you think there can be a way we can maybe have and I'm sure you guys have talked about this already, but like a way to show off the skin versus as many palettes? For example, you know, that Forceburn with that Wasteland Forceburn skin, I didn't super love its default. I think it's a great skin, but I didn't super love its default. I had no idea how good the blue skin looked. If I knew how good that blue skin version of the Wasteland looked, I would have bought it that second. But I didn't know.
Yep. In the list. So it's really a UI issue, which UI has been just behind in general. How do I say this kindly? We have a UI engineer, but we really needed a UI designer, and then the plan for UI design didn't really work out the way we expected, and that was really hard because that was kind of like the last like boulder we needed to push for release.
Okay.
And so, long story short, we now have the UI design need figured out. They got a backlog, right? So their current expectations are get the things we missed for launch in, and then work on not little, but those nice to haves that, like that we would want in the game. But I'm gonna make sure that that's on the backlog.
I really personally think that, like, from not a stance to say, hey guys, this is how you should run your game. I know, I'm Raven, I know everything. No,
it's
but
a
just
great idea. Yeah,
I think it would be extremely helpful. So let's go ahead and close this out so that I can go ahead and, give you a proper goodbye. Real quick one. Nofin did ask, who is the UI designer? If you know who that is off the top of your head.
Chang.
Sorry?
Andrew Chang is
Andrew
UI.
Chang. All right.
And then I should say UI art is by Gabriel Leahy. So really, like, the design is like Gabe does the mocks and then Andrew does the implementation.
All right.
And then the engineer is Joe Rizzo. So in this next update, if I have the willpower and can move them to do it, the backer credits are going to be in alphabetical.
From everyone I've encountered and me personally, thank you, Dan. Thank you, Trevor. Thank you, all of the people who have worked on Rivals to make it what it is. You guys have truly, truly given me something that I'm so excited to honestly love with all my heart. I can't wait. I'm gonna hold my beautiful child, and my partner is gonna look at me and say, best day of your life, right? And I'll be like, well, second best. Rivals came out October 23rd. Any way that you want to shout out yourself, or maybe like Dan Fernese or something, anything we can do to help support you guys, or just a message, anything you got.
Yeah, best thing to do to help support the game is tell your friends about it, but also give us your feedback on the null board. Like, if you're unaware of that, the null board is posted in our Discord. Please join that. And then, let us know what you think of the game, because that's kind of our business model. Is we are going to be different than a lot of bigger games. We've been this way for almost 10 years now, where we listen to player feedback and try to make the game that they want themselves. There's a push and pull there, obviously, because not everybody has the same idea of what the game should be. But we're listening, and that kind of engagement pushes us to make the best game it can be.
Awesome. Anything you want to say just on your personal end? Something about Matt?
No,
it's all good.
This has been a dream, right? Like having this game come out and working with my longtime friend to kind of see his vision come to life has been just life-changing. So really happy that I've been able to support the team. They're the talented ones. I'm like, you can kind of, plug me into any game development studio, and it's kind of have the similar results. But the designers on this game are really special. So shout outs to them, because they've made something that's truly unique, and it's been successful. It has succeeded where others have failed, I should say. Cool. Thanks, y'all.
Thank you so much, stream, for tuning in. The video should be up as soon as I can possibly edit it. But thank you all so much for being here and asking any additional questions. I hope I did the best I could for you guys. Before I let you go, thank you so much for watching, and I'm really sorry about the quality issues with, how the stream looked, or, the volume of my microphone. I'll be sure to do better in the next one. Speaking of the next one, there's no guarantee that I get to do another one of these kind of videos, but I really hope I can. I might not do it with Matt again. I might do it with someone else, or I do it with Matt in a different situation. But I'm going to try. I think it shows a lot about the dev team when one of them takes the time to do a video like this with someone like me. And I'm happy to be like a filter to represent the voice of the people, where, people are asking questions and I'm like, hey man, they actually did already answer this question before, so here's the answer, so that the devs don't have to answer questions 600,000 times. But at the same time, still being there so I can represent ideas and, questions that the people have. So if you guys have any ideas or questions or comments, please, go ahead and leave a comment so that I can hopefully ask in the next one. And if you guys have problems or concerns with the game, be sure to utilize the tools like Reddit or the Noteboard, which, clearly the devs are paying attention to. Thank you so much for doing this, Matt. I really do appreciate it. And to everyone at the dev team, thank you. Thank you so much for making a game that I love so much with all my heart, and I can't wait to keep playing it and hopefully making more content on it. So thank you. And to anyone who's watching, thank you so much for watching. I really do appreciate it. And until next time, it's been your boy Raven. Peace out.
What I'm counting